Beauty in Black, Divorce in Black, and a lot of stuff in black.
Of course.
So,
I remember that black one.
was that so what'd you think?
You know, I'm not a big at all, not a fan of Tyler Perry. I will say that this is probably one of his better edited trailers.
Okay. Okay.
Usually it looks so much cornier, so much more Tubi-ish, low
Mm.
budget, strung together. Maybe because not a lot of the dialogue was included. Because I remember a lot of his trailers back in the day. The high point is sometimes narration way, way back, and then hearing bits of dialogue that's like funny to draw you in. I
Oh,
feel like
okay.
this time it relied on visuals. So I was like, okay. The trailer itself looks a lot more decent than usual. Probably thanks to Netflix.
Mm.
But otherwise, it looks like other series I've not seen from him. I stopped watching his stuff a long time ago. But I can't remember what that one was called. It was also a show. It was dramatic. It was a dramatic series. Have and Have Nots. That was probably the last series I tried from him, and that was very melodramatic. Um, the usual gimmicks, the usual type of lines. Um, all in all,
So you're saying you don't like Tyler Perry stuff because it's kind of a caricature of Black Americans?
he's done caricature plenty of times with Medea and characters in Medea and some bits in his comedy series and other movies that he's done. Yeah, but
But if that's his Black experience, is it actually a caricature? Like if he's pulling these stories and these characters from people he's met in his real life, then how would it can be? I mean, he might play it up a little bit, but how is it? Why doesn't it translate to um, people like yourself, who has always been off of Tyler Perry's
I
material?
like his plays. If I watched them now, I probably wouldn't get through this. I would probably fast forward through all the songs because they were usually pretty long. But I just grew up and I realized that with the shift in our country, with heavy focus on like black brutality and like all of that stuff, um, while I grew up alongside society dealing with these an influx of these things, maybe not an influx, but social media definitely made us stimulate a lot more because we actually get the reports
Right.
that would otherwise probably be buried back when. But just taking my black community a little more seriously, I guess. And I know he does comedy, so obviously you're supposed to like make fun and like I have no problem with satire and you know comedy in general is totally fine. I'm the person that laugh at all the racist jokes and whatever, but it's just to me the emphasis that our community puts on him is like a mecca, like a like not Godfather, but
He is though. For his time, Tyler Perry is the number one source for Black media as of right now.
I just feel like because
Divorce in the Black went number one on Amazon.
well yeah because people hate watching him too,
That's not his business. Divorce in
but
the
that's
Black.
why the ranking is number one.
Oh,
It's
I see what you're saying.
curiosity,
Gotcha. Gotcha.
partial curiosity, partial fandom, and then partial hate watching.
But I'm saying, as a creator, whether you're just creating content or, you're an actor, you're a makeup artist, sound effects, whatever you are, would you think that getting a job with Tyler Perry is going to change your whole trajectory of your career?
No,
Damn. You think it's just a job?
I don't know how they're taking it, but I know I see all the same people in his stuff, and very rarely do I see people from his stuff anywhere else.
Outside of that.
Yeah.
But why would you need to be? If he's paying you enough to.
Well, it depends on what your acting career or whatever career you want to be. If you're cool with just landing something good or great, depending on how he pays and all that.
I'm
Um,
cool working with people that want to work with me, that I don't have to stress about trying to figure out if this person isn't paying me enough because this other counterpart is getting paid, 10 times as much. I also don't have to be as um, buttoned up I can be relaxed. I can be myself. I can be in an environment that I feel like is uh, great for a creative experience. I don't need an Oscar. I don't need a Tony or whatever
You
in me.
just want to act and get paid.
Right. Or I
If
just want to do
it's
my creation, my creative part. Like I said, whether that's even being a key grip. Like I just want to be in a space where
don't get paid enough.
well, nobody gets paid that much. But my my point being, I want to be in a creative space that lets me feel like I'm happy to go to work every day. And if
You can
Tyler,
get that in more than one location though.
I'm saying, but Tyler Perry is not saying it's a guarantee just because you're black, but I just feel like working with multiple black people, it's a lot easier to deal with day to day stuff than it is having to work for a
If they're
Francis Ford
professional,
Coppola or something like
if
that.
they're as professional as you, if they come into work not with a chip on their shoulder or me against the world, like that all depends. Like, yeah, I would definitely love whenever I go back to work, if I have to ever go back to work. Like, I would love to see more people that look like me around. When the last job I had that had that, it was definitely a different vibe and feeling. Even though it was like part of my, population of coworkers, it was more than I ever seen. So it was definitely a little bit relaxing to have like essentially like a little drop in the code switch, whenever you're interacting with them. But like that's not just the reason to work for Tyler Perry specifically.
Why wouldn't it be? It's a great working environment.
But people work for money. And yes, a lot of people do work for creativity. But if you're living in the same city where this is all built and happening, you need to afford life. Not everyone who's creative is just solo. They might have family to take care of and stuff like
Right,
that. So
right, right,
money
right,
always
right.
comes
But
into
hold on, hold
play.
on, hold on. That's not Tyler's fault. I'm saying if I pay you the exact same as if you went or if you were in Hollywood, you would prefer to work with Tyler, right?
Not
Regard
necessarily, because there's networking opportunities that might get cut off. So again, it all comes down to individuals' idea of what they want their career to look like. If there are some people that are career receptionists and they could be 50, 60 years old and been doing it for 30 years, but they're happy with it. It vibes with them, it checks their boxes, they're good, whatever it is. They didn't want to leave, they like those jobs, they do those jobs. So everyone can do that, but I'm not just going to stay somewhere just because it's black. If it's for any reason, it's black and it's poorly ran, or it's black and it's a toxic work environment, like I'm gone. That's not a big enough perk to me, especially
right,
comparable
but
to money
but
to stay.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's a great working environment,
Assuming, yeah.
and
It could
that's
be a diva, who knows? You don't let anyone else right. So
as far
toxic.
well, and that's what's getting to my point before we got off before we got off kilter. That's my point is when you work in a creative environment that you feel comfortable in, would you be willing to work for someone that you feel like isn't up to par with storytelling or with writing? So even though you are the actor of the story or you are the whoever the director, you don't really agree with the script, but the working environment is fantastic.
If you just want to do the same type of movies with the same type of writer, you don't want to expend your acting skills, you don't want to go any further, you don't want to work with Tarantino one day, whatever the case is, you don't want to do nails for the stars or make costumes for
Right.
any other
Hold on, hold on, hold on.
projects.
My bad. Sorry. I guess I'm not explaining this correctly. Working with Tyler does not mean you can't work anywhere else. I'm just saying if you work with Tyler in a great creative space, could you then, or I'm sorry, would you prefer that for that one opportunity? It doesn't affect you working with anybody else, but for that one opportunity, would you be willing to work on a story that you didn't agree with? I guess is essentially my question. Like, if you
If
don't
there's
like the
nothing else
story,
I could get, sure. I'm sorry. I don't try to make it sound like he's bottom of the barrel. I'm sure there's worse writers out there. But if no one else will take me, yes, I'm sure he would be on the list if I was a writer or someone like that who just wanted that experience. You can still get experience working with him, I'm sure. I don't know about writing. but you do.
I agree.
You know, you'll get some experience. I'm not saying he's a baboon or anything like that. His whole place is just run like a farm. Like, no, I'm sure like you get experience and you can put on your resume proudly, or IMDb by filmography and proudly and whatever. I'm sure. I'm just saying, like I was saying at the beginning, I've just not really seen these same people he always has in his movies anywhere else. Like a lot of big directors have their muses. They're the people that are always in their films, 1 to 5, whatever. But I just haven't seen them really outside of his world.
Yeah, but there's nobody you can name that
Meagan Good
came in. Well, Meagan Good didn't come in with Tyler.
Correct.
So there's nobody you could like. I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I can't think of a director that came in and then created their own media and then created actors that went on to do other things. Like, I can't think of it.
I'll go back, but Alfred Hitchcock did that for his time. I'm sure Spielberg, when he got his start, he created something of a force.
And there's an actor that you can trace back to, like, yo, if he didn't get that chance in E.T., he wouldn't have went nowhere. Or she, excuse me.
Well, we did just watch that documentary on Hulu about child stars, and oh my God, her name just left my head.
Did you know about it?
Well, she was interviewing
Drew Barrymore?
Thank you, Drew Barrymore. She mentioned that being on E.T. is what launched her. Of course, she was a child, but regardless, that launched her. It was a big enough movie to where her name and her face meant something after that.
Right, but that's the movie. That's not Spielberg. Tyler Perry hasn't had a E.T. movie. There's been no super. Well, I mean, it's budgeting, I would say, for anything.
But he puts out so many projects a year. So many.
So
he's known to overlap and have 4, 5, 6 shows on the air and all this stuff at once.
And how many people is he employing doing that?
I don't know, but the bottom line
but that's my thing is, why would I
Are we talking about employment or quality of work?
Well, now I'm thinking, why would I create one big blockbuster when I could do 10 different, or at least, 7 different shows and 3 different
Then you're not getting an ET.
Right.
So then there's no argument there because he won't make an ET because he doesn't want an ET because he wants to have a flooded market of black media or whatnot.
Right.
Right.
So my thing is, if okay, so this definitely helps me create my question a little bit better. So if Tyler Perry can do, let's just keep it more lower. Let's say 2 movies and 3 shows a year. Why would an actor ever need to go outside of the Tyler Perry universe? Or why would somebody working in that universe ever need to go out? Like, why do I need to be in a broader audience if the audience that I have now is paying me well and I'm being complimented for my work?
If you're only working because you want the money, money is your main motivator, you'll stay wherever.
But you're saying that you should challenge yourself?
If you want a serious career in it, you're going to have to challenge yourself. A career in anything, you're going to have to challenge yourself at some point to improve. So, this depends. I'm not saying any actor that stays with Tyler Perry is a low ranking actor with no ambition and they don't want to go anywhere. Like, I'm not saying that.
But you are saying that they're going to play one archetype and it's going to be a
black... 1 of 5 characters. Yeah. 1 of maybe 10 to be nice.
You're not going to have range. You're not going to have a deep rooted character that you're going to
win an Emmy or an Oscar. Not from his work. If you branched out and went somewhere else and did a great role, then you could be nominated, whatever. But no.
I wonder does he even submit his work to the Oscars?
Comedies aren't usually. I don't think comedies aren't judged. Comedy, horror.
The Worst in the Black wasn't a comedy. I wonder if he submitted that.
Are movies from streaming sites added to the roster for Academy Awards yet? I know that was like a thing a few years ago.
I thought Netflix won or did they? I know they won Emmys, but I don't know if they've won. If anybody's won a world, I guess we'd have to look that up.
Yeah, I know it was a thing a few years ago that streaming original movies and shows weren't up for. And a lot of the streaming sites have been doing a lot better job with shows and movies because they're the ones that really, play with diversity, yada, yada, yada. But, yeah. Do what you want.
So you're not working for Tyler Perry?
No,
Mm. Well, I will work with Tyler Perry. I think.
I will support him working for Tyler Perry.
Thank you. Thank you.